Brothers and sisters, what's popping? Yeah, let's go ahead and get this screen share on. And just so that way everybody's on the same page, this article is from 5 years ago, 6 years ago, excuse me. Let me blow that up, make sure it looks big enough. Waterhead is in the way. You don't have to just excuse that. Iran and the sleeper threat to North America. January 8th, 2020. Listen to me, y'all. Now, y'all need to recognize, I'm one of the only people that have videos that go back to 2020, where even if I don't have them titled a certain way, I for sure talk about the sleeper threats. I'm one of the only people that I know that actively spoke on and speaks on the fact that the Chinese, the Iranians, the Russians, the actual true main threat to America, they're here by the millions. The Iranians might be the hundreds of thousands, but if you just want to like throw in how many people from Iraq, how many people from Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Pakistan, like all these dudes are all children of the Ottoman Empire. So I don't like to separate them too much. But what I'm saying is that there's already a whole army worth of people here in America that could fight their causes for them. So when we talk about RIC, never too early, never too late, first off, it's never too early to attack your enemies and your opponents. Never. Iran made the fatal mistake of allowing America to posture itself up and then to attack it. Again, that's what the masochistic way of life of Islam allows for them to allow someone to do that to them. They're such masochists that they have suicide bombers. Neither here nor there. Back to the point. Iran and the sleeper threat to North America. And this is by Dr. Shannon Nash, NAADSN manager, and Trent postdoctoral fellow. Let me see what that is. I'm pretty sure that's got something to do with national security. North American and Arctic Defense and Security Network. We'll check that out later. Anyway, make sure that my still sharing. Okay, good. Anyway, during a bristling confrontation between Iran and the U.S. in recent months, fears have mounted about Iran's capability and intention to retaliate with the strike on the U.S. homeland. A tit-for-tat escalation of attacks, particularly the assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in response to his involvement developing plans for an alleged imminent attack on Americans and retribution after the death of an American contractor at an Iraqi military base, has emboldened the perception that America is vulnerable to an Iranian-backed attack on North American soil. Now let's give this some nuance. First and foremost, does this not sound? Listen, we're in 2026. Did y'all not hear an attack was imminent all these last few weeks? It's imminent. That's the word that they've been using, right? So understand that this is not something that they're just now saying. Forget the news. Forget all nuclear proliferation talk. F that. Put that on the back burner. Let's talk about this part right here, where they're saying that they attacked General Qasem Soleimani because they're saying that he allegedly was going to pop some stuff off on American soil. Let me tell you guys right now, they could have never been too early. And it's still not too late to make it pop. Let me just keep reading. And I'm not just talking about Iran, I'm talking about all of them. It's not too late for any of them to pop the shit off. Dr. Besma Momani explains that Iran knows it cannot win in a head-to-head conventional war against the U.S., so it will use asymmetric warfare on its allies that can give the cloud of deniability and yet deliver the message of war. Now, when has Iran ever did that? For people who try to say that so and so is a proxy group, okay, do you consider ISIS a proxy because they used American weapons? Do you consider the Taliban a proxy, even though we use the Mujahideen as a proxy to fight them off? Neither here nor there. Do you consider anyone that benefits through the means of combative arms a proxy of America or any Western or any Eastern power for that matter? If they're because to say that Hezbollah, to say that Al Ansar or the Houthis, to say that Hamas is a proxy of Iran, first off, I have a hard time believing that the Iranians wanted the Palestinians to be devastated like that in Gaza. I don't care how masochistic you are. I don't believe that they wanted that. That being said, I do believe, though, that when you have more pull than the other people, and I'm going to compare this to being in a casino, and anybody who's ever gambled knows this feeling. There will be people who come into the casino who have tens of thousands of dollars to blow, expendable. And what will happen is you might got your little 500-600 on the table. You might be up a few beans. They buy in for 5,000, 4,000. They take over the whole table. They start betting a certain way, and they start striking. So now you want to bet with them. You say, hey, bet 200 for me on your next hand, or bet 100, or whatever, right? You're going to go with them. That doesn't mean that you can't bet against them if you feel like their bet is wrong. It works like that with any kind of group that you want to call a proxy group. They can ride the, I want to say the wave, but you can ride the momentum that another person creates. But at the end of the day, you can go against the momentum at your detriment. So when they say proxies or whoever, would somebody, again, somebody tell me, how can you designate a person a proxy, but then will tell us that another person is a lone wolf? Even if they follow under an ideology that people say is racist, xenophobic, and bigoted. Inasmuch, whoever propagated the ideology should be held in the same light or the same level of accountability that you would say for a government or any sort of power and emboldening action from another group who may not have the abilities, resources, or know-how to actually initiate and get these things done. All right. Now it says Iran knows it cannot win a head-to-head war. So my thing is that why would Iran want to fight a head-to-head war with America? Why? Like, wanting America to not be in the region and wanting to fight America head-to-head are two totally different things. Now, do I agree with them saying big Satan, little Satan, or death to America, death to Israel? Listen, man, that's their own. They feel however the fuck they want to feel. That's their feelings. I'll tell you this much. While I'm in the land, while I have to live here, I'll do what I have to do so that way I can continue to live. It's that simple. Now let's keep talking. Let's walk and chew some bubble gum, my people. According to Mamani, a proxy war would continue to come at the expense of civilians in and fragile democratic politics of Iraq and Lebanon, and to the lesser extent, Syria and Yemen. The consensus among analysts is that Iran would continue to target American military infrastructure and personnel in the region. Iran did just that when it launched ballistic missiles at 2 military bases in Iraq that house American troops. The strikes resulted in no deaths, and some could believe it had been a show of force that was carefully crafted not to provoke the U.S. and provide an off-ramp for both sides. Stop right there. The reason why I have to give the Muslim their flowers right now, because even if they were lying, let's say they were trying to develop a nuke. Let's just go ahead and say that they were. On the face value of it, they did everything right. They didn't do any kind of sneaky double dealings, and people calling Israel slick and smarter. Oh yeah, that's how you do it. But if I killed you while you were with your family, because I'm saying that you're a threat to America, let's just say I say in my mind somebody's a threat to national security. I deem them a threat, not to U.S. government, me all by myself, and I go and lay their motherfucking ass down. Do you think the U.S. government's going to accept that? Number one. Number two, does it make me right just because I said it? See what I'm saying? So we're living in a time where they're acting as if just because they say, if forget if you're white and you say so. This is not a white person saying it. They're not even adjacent to it. This is probably somebody that is it sounds like a Turk. Momani sounds like they're Turkish, right on. Some kind of Ottoman baby, one of the billion bastards, that they produced. Again, just because they're saying it here, people does not make it true. And another thing, if Iran had wanted to just obliterate one of those or all the bases, they could have. Again, it was never too early, and it's still not too late. Whatever they've got left in the tank, they had better dump it out now. They had better blow their load right now. I mean, like Chris Tucker said to Charlie Sheen in Money Talks, it don't get no righter. It can't get no righter. However he said it. Okay? It can't get no righter, man, than to right now pop it off. I mean, all the way pop it off. But they ain't going to do shit because they scared. Detreason then wiped out a whole bunch of expendable leadership. The most dangerous thing the IRGC could do right now is pretend like they laid down arms. Pretend like they disbanded. Just pretend like it, cuz. Let American interests move in. And then literally clamp down on them. But see, they ain't like me. That long game, they don't have in them. I'm the kind of nigga to wait 20 years, 15 years, however long I gotta wait. Because when it's time for me to do whatever I'm gonna do, it's not gonna be no premeditated nothing. This was spur of the moment, Your Honor. All capricious impetuosity. None of it that I think of. I just acted. Nevertheless, hashtag Iran versus America trends on Twitter. News headlines, commentary, and social media's posts invoke fears of Iranian sleeper cells waiting to attack in North America. The idea of a sleeper often invokes the image of a Russian spy or terrorist living next door, laying low, blending in, and waiting to be called upon to carry out an operation. This concept and fear of an enemy operating from within is particularly jarring and plays on society's perception of security. America's fear of sleepers is primed by a historical sense of broader cultural fears of an enemy within, drawn particularly from the idea of the German fifth column in the Second World War and the Soviet deep cover illegal agents during the Cold War. After General Soleimani's assassination, New York Mayor Bill de Blasio said the security threat to the city changed significantly. There's a whole bunch of them dudes from all those places over there. The escalation of tensions with Iran meant a world of difference, and we have to assume this action puts us in a de facto state of war. Former CIA officer Brian Dean Wright told Fox News that potential terrorist sleeper operations in the U.S. represents a credible threat in the wake of Iran's missile strikes on January 8th. If Iran hits inside the U.S. homeland, he suggests it would be tantamount to a new 9/11. Michael Morrell, a former deputy director of the CIA, warned that Iran might turn their proxies loose to go after civilians and conduct a terrorist strike to kill a senior American official in any city where Iran has sleeper cells. Such action would be most likely in Iraq, but he warned that major U.S. cities could also be a target. Former CIA operations officer Sam Fadis also said that it is more possible that Hezbollah has sleeper cells in the United States ready to strike. Based on what we know, we must assume they do, and they can hit targets on U.S. soil at any time without warning. Listen, y'all. They're pretty much saying that there's dudes who they think are involved in stuff. They can't prove it, or they could prove it, but by the means of how they got the information might not be admissible in the court of law. That's what I'm hearing right now. See what I'm saying? And by that being the case, they could attack out of anywhere and nowhere, because you can't. Do y'all remember Batman, The Dark Knight, when Lucius Fox tells Bruce Wayne, "If you're gonna have a machine like this, I can't work for you. Right on. I can't be here for this," because he could pretty much tap into everybody's cell phone. You're worse than the government at that point. Who Lucius Fox, who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I'm saying? Without saying it. But the facts be this. And give me 1 second, y'all. But the facts be this. They could do what they want to do if they wanted to do it. It's just now to attack a person or to kill somebody who hasn't done anything, it's murder. No matter if you're a cold-hearted murderer for real, murdering somebody for money is one thing. Murdering somebody for national security, especially this might just be somebody that's frustrated, venting. They're not really about to do shit, because then technically, why aren't we acting on any threat? Not just the ones from foreign operatives, but what about the people who are domestic terrorists who are against the United States government, who have an axe to grind and let it be known that they're trying to bring down the government? Again, these dudes talk and don't even understand. Their words are going to be used as fucking treason against them. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law, dog. Well, let's keep reading. Former CIA Operation Sam Fadis said that it is more possible that Hezbollah has sleeper cells in the United States ready to strike. Based on what we know, we must assume they do, and they can hit targets on U.S. soil at any time without warning. You know why Hezbollah ain't did nothing in the U.S.? Because look at the stuff that's going on over there right now in Lebanon. They don't have the juice. If they had the juice, or they felt like if Hezbollah knew that Chinese operatives were going to activate and Russian operatives were going to activate, they would be emboldened because they wouldn't be by themselves. This is what makes this shit dangerous, because you don't know if these, again, whenever I see them kind of groups of people working together, I always look at them sideways. Have you be a fool not to. Such commentaries featured by various news outlets, social media posts on sleepers lurking promote a narrative based on fear and paranoia. This contrasts with the reassuring message of Chad Wolf, acting Secretary of U.S. Department of Homeland Security, whose agency is working with law enforcement officials and is ready to respond to any retaliatory threats, though none have been detected. No. What it is see, it's illegal for the CIA to operate on American soil, right? It's supposed to be, right? I don't want to get down the rabbit hole too deep, but I'll say this much. You can't have a situation where the CIA has enacted a terrorist act on American soil. And I'm sure they have. I'm sure they've done things that are tantamount to terrorism, and it's been the CIA, i.e., bringing crack cocaine to the black neighborhoods and, dropping a fucking, the equivalent of a chemical nuclear bomb on my people. Word, and we still have yet to recover from it. So it is what it is. It is what a TI is. You know. Anyway, let's keep reading. While it is yet ultimately unclear what kind of capabilities, oh my bad, jumped too far ahead. Terrorist operational security has long embraced having a group of on the ground doing logistical work with the bomb maker coming in and completing preparations. This includes Palestinian terrorism in the 1960s and 70s, with Hezbollah establishing a record for such infiltration and security protocols. In December 2019, Ali Korani was sentenced to 40 years in prison for charges ranging from the provision of material support to Hezbollah to receiving military training from the terrorist organization. Karani, who came to the U.S. from Lebanon in 2003 and became a citizen in 2009, initially told investigators that he was a sleeper. And after scouting targets in New York City, the plan was for him to become a suicide bomber. He tried to cooperate with authorities in 2016, but was subsequently arrested. Subsequently, he insists that his statements to officials were false and that his ties to Hezbollah were strictly political. You hear that, y'all? Nigga done changed the story up because, he ain't gonna get he wasn't gonna get no special treatment. He thought he was gonna get out of the bullshit. So then he's like, no, let me go ahead and just say I lied. Perjury is a crime, but it's a far less punishable crime than terrorism. Perjury doesn't normally come with the loss of your life or a bunch of years in prison like this dude, because he's done now. Or he's done 40 years. Might as well be a lot. 40 years is the fucking life sentence, y'all. Unless you get locked up when you're 13 or some shit. Like if you get a 40-year sentence at the age of 30, they fucking pretty much killed you. Like for real, for real. For real, for real. While I smoke on this chronic, just think about this while we get to reading. He said what? The plan was for him to become a suicide bomber. Now, what's that mean? He's a masochist. He likes pain. He likes to receive the pain. He'll be dead before he even kills anybody else. A suicide bomber dies first. That's almost always the case. I can't think of too many instances where they wouldn't have died first, unless they just didn't die because, the bomb didn't go off. And then they just start shooting, I guess. But that's a whole other thing. He's saying he was supposed to be a suicide bomber in New York. In New York, of all places. He tried to cooperate, y'all, but was subsequently arrested. Subsequently, he insisted that his statements to officials were false and that his ties to Hezbollah were strictly political. Now, how convenient for him to change his story up after the fact. But again, y'all, if somebody comes into your home and tells you that they slept with your wife, right? And then says, oh, no, I'm playing. Like, are you going to fucking take that as a joke? You get what I'm saying? Especially some bloke you never seen a day in your life. Like, never seen him. Right. Now, you might just be like, this nigga's full of shit right off rip. But, again, the seriousness of what they're saying at least has to be taken into consideration. Let's keep going. While it is ultimately unclear what kind of capabilities Iran has within North America, historical analysis... Now, stop right there, y'all. Who has been saying since God knows when these dudes have been coming through the border from the south? Who's been saying that there are no Geiger counters? There aren't any. I don't want to hear about how do you enrich? They bringing the shit here already enriched, niggas. already motherfucking weapons grade. Right. You don't need a warhead to set off a nuclear ordinance. That's the problem with most niggas. They think you have to have a missile. That is not how this shit works. It just merely needs to be ignited, y'all. That's it. And fission will do the fucking rest. Excuse me. Now let's read. While it is ultimately unclear what kind of capabilities Iran has within North America, historical analysis of Al Qaeda sleepers in the U.S. before and after 9/11 hold important lessons. Al Qaeda did not use sleepers in any classic Russian espionage sense, as there are elements of this that never fit, such as long periods of cover creation and extended dormancy. Instead, Al Qaeda had an interest of deploying operatives, often to foreign countries, who had sufficient security awareness to avoid detection by authorities, and were meant to be in place to execute missions. Operatives were in place usually on a shorter rather than longer time frame. It is important to remember that a sleeper has an extremely difficult operational mandate. For success, agents require extensive training and complete confidence of the country or organization that sent him or her to accomplish the mission. The reality that no true sleeper agents were identified in the U.S. after 9/11. The reality is that no true sleeper agents were identified in the U.S. after 9/11. Did y'all hear that? So, this is why they say what they say about fentanyl and all this other shit. But my thing is like, see, they're so afraid because they have these individuals are here. They're here to stay. I mean, who's going to get them out? America made a massive mistake by bringing over all these motherfuckers, y'all. And now they're realizing that it hurts them more than it helps them. They never had this problem. There was no sleeper cell issue with black people ever in this country. Right on? If a nigga was going to pop off, he was going to pop off. But somebody knew who he was. Again, until they started bringing in dudes from the Caribbean and motherfuckers from Africa and shit like that, black people, it was known you was an American nigga. For a fucking fact. Right. So once they opened the floodgates of immigration, and they never closed it because they wanted to subvert black people in this land. Their whole movement is to subvert black people and to do it overtly and covertly. But in their overt attempts to derail our people, they have allowed for covert operatives, whom in which they cannot identify because they would have to say, we hacked into their cell phone, we hacked into their emails, we hacked into the metadata, we did a bunch of shit that technically is illegal and unconstitutional to get this information. Therefore, when we bring it to the court of law, it is inadmissible. This is a fact, y'all. Before they bring a bullshit case up to a magistrate, judge, circuit, whatever the fuck you want to say, right? They will throw your bitch ass in a black van, nigga, and get rid of you before they get told no by a judge. Believe that. So, when you have all these individuals of which you cannot identify, I guarantee you right now, if you walked up to 7 out of 10 people in America and asked them, are your grandparents American born? Most of them will tell you no. 7 out of 10 will tell you no. Most people are not from, listen, y'all, most of these dudes are not from America. They're not from here. Trump's grandparents were not born in America. The president of the United States. Listen to what the fuck I'm saying. So if niggas want to try to tell me, like, listen, I'm talking about both y'all. For me, it's different. I know there's a whole bunch of people that got an African mother or a African father, or a Caribbean mother, or a Caribbean father, and the other parent is a nigga. But listen, check this shit out. I'm one of the few people you will meet and will tell you, all my people, right on, until we start getting to the splinters in the bloodline, all the black people in my bloodline are niggas who were brought here against their will, or niggas who were already here. Facts. Facts. But they've been in this land for hundreds of years now. So it doesn't matter. Like, my great grandparents was born in this bitch. Niggas don't want to hear that. Like, it makes people look at me and be like, well, what's the fucking point? I'm like, bro, the point is this, is that if these people's great grandparents was born here, they wouldn't have an axe to grind like that. You know why the Mexicans are trying to pull a Reconquista? Is because of shit like that. Because they feel like the fat of the land has been stripped from them, even though they didn't cultivate and curate anything, and they didn't create anything. A non-contributor wants to be the one who takes the most. Bullshit. But back to the point of what we're talking about. Often when driven by fear and anxiety, particularly after 9/11, when Homeland Security concerns and exaggerations of the threat posed by al-Qaeda helped prolong a fear of catastrophe, perceptions of the sleeper threat became so formidable that they often became vastly disproportionate to reality. This led to the construction of an alternate reality that adapted a loose sleeper label, which converted belief into an established truth. This consequently perpetuated fear, paranoia, and anxiety. In turn, this idea has had a powerful influence over policies that sought to root out sleepers wherever they hid, at the expense of American civil liberties. Mischaracterizing and inflating the threat posed by sleepers often proves self-defeating to American efforts to defend against it, as the balance remained tipped in favor of security and Muslims remained suspect. U.S. authorities sought to root out sleepers at all costs to stop the next attack, but this obsession inflamed old biases and fostered racism against American Muslims. So listen, the same bigotry that they used to use and let the Klan march by the thousands, by the hundreds through whole cities and towns, armed to the fucking teeth, armed to the eyelash, nigga. And you're telling me that you didn't have any of that smoke for none of these motherfuckers. I mean, I could go into the historical reasons why for not, but we're not going to do that right now. What we're going to is ask is, why not? Why not? There was never a stop and frisk equivalent for Muslims. Ever. Hasn't even been. And there should be. Everybody who says that they worship Islam, niggas, should be stopped every time the cops get a chance, cuz you don't know if they've been radicalized or not. And you don't know if they know somebody who's been radicalized. And if they haven't told you who's been radicalized, my nigga, are they not part of the problem? Are they not trying to foster and foment the same fuckery that they're trying to prevent? Come on, man. 1 second, y'all. I'm on one right now. I'm rolling. Before and after 9/11, loose applications of the term sleeper served to simplify and misrepresent the methodology behind al-Qaeda's operational success. This led to a lack of widespread awareness of al-Qaeda's operational security tactics and changing the nature of the threat, clarifying the threat, and just how divorced al-Qaeda methodology was from any classic use of sleepers could have further elucidated how to regard the threat and provide an element for preventive action. What they're trying to say is that the way they went at the Muslims is the same way they went at the Russians and shit, and it was ineffective moving forward. For example, even though Osama bin Laden and Khalid Sheikh Mohammed may have had long-term plans to adapt their sleeper concept for operational planning after 9/11, They never had the capability to give this strategy any effect. This was in part because of Homeland Security measures and U.S. led global anti-terrorism operations, which led to changes in Al Qaeda's capabilities and perceptions of its ability to penetrate American security. The terror threat morphed in the years after 9/11 to those inspired by rather than directed by Al Qaeda and other terrorist organizations. Let's read that again. The terrorist threat morphed in the years after 9/11 to those inspired by rather than directed by Al Qaeda and other So again, you're not an Al Qaeda proxy if you go and commit an act of terrorism. But they'll try to tell you that Iran has is the largest exporter of terrorism in the earth. But the thing is, truthfully, it's the United States government. Like nobody with an operable mind, nobody with a mind that actually fucking works is gonna think that the U.S. government is not the largest sponsor of terrorism. Terrorism, by definition, is the use of violence or coercion, right? To further your political goals. And that's me paraphrasing. But no lies were told just now. So because America uses so many subversive means that they put on paper, they confirm their own goodwills with ink and paper to say as if they didn't do something nefarious, even though in actual practicality, if we call out the action for what it is, it's evil, wicked, and nefarious. And that is the sort of shit that we're up against. No, they're not calling these guys Al Qaeda proxies. They're saying they're inspired by. So why can't Hezbollah just be inspired by Iran? Why can't Hamas just be inspired by Iran? Why can't the Houthis just be inspired by Iran? They got to be a proxy, huh? See, that's the fucking double talk, the hypocrisy that people are tired of, y'all. They're tired of it. They're tired of a motherfucker trying to think for them and then saying shit that doesn't make sense when you hold it apple to apple. This shit is a Honey Crisp. This shit is a Honey Crisp. I bit into both, and that Honey Crisp right there tastes like shit. Soft and mushy, and fucking mealy and all that, man. Fuck that. Just spit it out and threw it down. Even the bugs didn't eat it. That's how you know it was terrible, right? This other one I bit into, this shit is crisp, juicy, revitalizing, right? Feel like I could go out here and motherfucking wrestle a shark in the water type of shit. Apple make me feel so good. Yeah, see, that's what food's supposed to make you feel empowered. I don't feel like that when I smoke weed or nothing like that or when I drink beer. But when I eat the righteous things that I'm supposed to have in my body, I feel unstoppable. And that's the difference between somebody that's connected to the earth and somebody that's disconnected from the earth. We all medicate differently. I would rather them not give me whatever they want to give me, and I'll give myself whatever I think I need, and I'll make it as far as I make it. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. Let's keep reading. After a feeling of vulnerability often leads to a feeling of persecution, which latches on to theories of vast conspiracy. Stop right there. The word conspiracy should be changed to conjecture. It should be conjecture theories. Because conspiracy, the word to conspire means to plan or plot against. The word conjecture means false or misleading. So, again, a conjecture theory is what most people profess in. A real conspiracy theory is only a theory until we can prove that the plan or the plot has been initiated. Anything else we're going to call conjecture. I'm going to start saying that. It's a conjecture theory, not a conspiracy theory. Right off rip. Y'all got that from here. You ain't heard that nowhere else. You got that here. So you hear a nigga try to take my shit, you make sure you backhand they bitch ass in the comment section and slap all their teeth out. Fears of a terrorist infiltration continue to be promoted and supported by some U.S. officials and media sources, which were disproportionate to the evolving reality of the threat. excessive imagination that fostered the idea that the terrorist next door could be here and waiting persist, even though it's a real fucking thing. And repercussions continue to have potentially dangerous consequences. How sleepers are discussed and included in threat assessments is important because an emotionally charged concept, the idea plays on society's inherent fears of an enemy within and exposes vulnerabilities within a society, especially the fault line privileging security over civil liberties. So they're saying the fault line, meaning there's a point where you say that their freedom is not as important as us being safe. Makes total sense to me. So again, the fact that they applied and still apply certain force to black people that you don't see applied to anybody else, I'm just saying, nigga, keep that, nigga, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Man, we need the energy to get right. The dangers in indulging in these fears, especially if they are misdirected. The idea of sleepers evokes fear, and fear guides policy. There are dangers in indulging in these fears, especially if they are misdirected. So, what they're trying to say is that the policies that could be passed and instituted could be ineffective into actually stopping the threat. Now, why I'm saying never too early, never too late, RIC would have never been too early to have done whatever they did. And they would never be too late now. I'm not telling them to do nothing. I'm saying what it is. You know, because there's a lot of information that people are not aware of. Again, that article is from 6 years ago, a whole 6 of them. There's no need for me to keep going on and on and on and on. I got maybe another 5 or 6 minutes, and then I'm up out of this bitch. Never too early, never too late. Again, I'm one of the few people who've ever spoke about these things in fullness, like throughout the years. I'm not just latching on to to a concept. What's good, bro? Yeah. Popping, baby. Yeah, man. I'm in here trying to break that holy spiritual foot off, on their neck. Right? That's the best place to break it. We know they didn't make it for sure. Yeah. Never too early, never too late, bro. And I just was driving home this concept where they've tried to make it seem as if RIC has not been here, right? They try to make it seem as if RIC just got here. The thing is that RIC had a good relationship with America for a long time. The Russians didn't just sell Alaska because they didn't, because they didn't. People can say whatever, but they did that because there was an actual feasible relationship there. My point being this right here. If there was a land where the Palestinians were like, you know what, we'll go here. Hey, look, man, it's about to get crazy, bro. It's already stupid doodle dumb. It's about to get like Fritz the cat stupid. It's about to be crazy out here. And all I can say is that I hope our brothers and our sisters are actually staying ready, man. Staying on top of their A game, because it's gonna take a lot. But what I'm saying is this right here, though, fam, is that we got a concept where these dudes have already been here. They was always here. There's never been a time where the Americans, the Europeans were here, and there wasn't some kind of Turkish dudes here. They've been here. The Jews are Ottoman Turks. And look, But you can't blame the move though, bro. Okay. So even though Trump, can you blame Iran? Nigga, you killed 50 of our top hitters, bro. Motherfuckers who made their whole life. Bro, it's crazy to say this. The Ayatollah could have lived to be 100. We don't know. We have no idea how long that man was going to live. They cut his life short. Even though he lived a long life, America doesn't want to hear it like that. You know what I'm saying? The nerve to do all that is on some fuck shit. We already know what time it is, brother. You and I both know that was sideways. But you know what I'm saying though? And the never too early, never too late. It was Iran could have never been too early on attacking. They should have attacked right off rip. Right when the first destroyer showed up, right when the first American boat that wasn't normal to the area showed up, they should have popped it off on every U.S. fucking base they could have. Unleashed everything they had. And then when they kill all your leadership, at least it makes sense. The Iranians are saying they've killed hundreds of soldiers. America's saying they only lost a few. I'm going to say it's somewhere in the middle. Let's say a couple hundred motherfuckers really got killed. Their top dudes got wiped out. There is no equal for that. Ain't no sergeant first class worth the fucking Ayatollah, right? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, the nerve that America had was basic, but America felt like the nerve Iran has to say no. You know, it's a two-way street in this bitch. Even though I feel like Iran did the right thing. That's my personal take. I could be wrong. I could be all the way wrong. I've been wrong before. Look, man. All that shit is psyop. That's all some lies. Man, America didn't bring all them ships and didn't bring no ammo, bro. They brought a bunch of shit. What they trying to do is do some illmatic shit. Man, we go look, all I know is this. If Russia and China do not get involved, Iran will cease to exist the way that it does in the next 2 weeks. Iran will have a worse political situation than Bangladesh. I said it first. You heard it here first. I'm telling you. If Russia and China doesn't get involved in this shit, them niggas gonna get their head tore off, bro. They need the help. I know. But I'm talking about they gotta get involved. They need more than drones. Them niggas need a shaman cutting chicken heads and goat heads on the top of the mountain. Niggas singing motherfucking praises to the sun or something. Them niggas need some old school magic, bro. Some real nigga shit. I'm gonna be 100. Okay? They better go get somebody right now, bro. Okay? Out of one of them little villages, nigga, they better go get somebody, dog. Okay? Because it ain't looking good. It's looking terrible. All right, and I ain't trying to talk no shit. I'm just being 100,000, man. I'm being all the way real. You know, I believe that shit is real. You know, I believe in all that kind of stuff. That's why I don't practice none of that shit. You know, I believe all that shit is real. I believe all that shit has a tangible effect to it. And I'm telling you right now, if a motherfucker went up to the highest mountain peak and went up there with the greatest goats and the greatest birds they got and sacrificed them, some shit might happen. You know. Some shit might happen, but I'm saying they better talk to Russia and China and tell them, look, man, y'all niggas got free oil for the next year if you need it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Yeah, they did some shit, man. Them niggas, look, man. I'm gonna tell you what's popping, bro. Them dudes over there in the Middle East did just a little too much for their own good. And I love them, man. I really do. You know, I love them to the sense that I know that them niggas ain't us. Or I know that some of them are Us. I know some of them for sure are us, but I know that a bunch of them ain't us. So I just look at them and I'll be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna try to fight y'all on who you are. They are who the fuck they are. You know? And Iran has a lot to worry about, man. Like I said, they're gonna be worse off than Bangladesh, bro. Bangladesh is in a terrible situation. You got a bunch of people who are younger than 30 who have no political affiliation around the earth, who are now trying to take over the government, and people don't understand. The dude Jolani in gosh damn Syria, he was stomped down, 10 toes down, for real ISIS commander. Nigga had a bounty on his head and everything. It's totally different. The dynamic of power that he's coming from is different than a frustrated 24-year-old just because they can't get a job that's going to pay them good enough for them to go and get a house and to live the life that they think that they should be able to live. Iran's got a major problem, bro. They got a bunch of dudes who are 35 to 45 who have been waiting for shit to change in their life. And the Ayatollah and them, all they had to do was say, you know what? We're going to use some of this water. Because the thing is that if they had a nuke and they haven't used it, they're stupid. You don't hold that to the last second. You don't. I mean, again, bro, a real warrior comes with all his weapons bearing at the ready. The United States has fucking three. They got their third nuclear power carrier on the way, bro. You feel me? They're bringing all their power to bear at the ready. They're like, we will nuke Iran off the map, circle around and nuke Russia, and then fucking just say, fuck the mainland. Whoever's on the coast, I'm over here on the West Coast. Shit gonna get hit up here in Washington for a fact. Right on. If some shit happened, it's a fact. It's a fact. The only way it wouldn't happen is if the air defense out here was. We got a nasty air defense. Don't get it fucked up. But I'm just saying though, I don't expect none of that shit to be 100%. You know, I don't. But my initial feeling is that, bro, it's like there's a lot of these dudes here who got pretty much miniature nuclear. It's like a nuclear grenade, bro. But the blast radius on some of these things, for sure, can't be determined. Because the payload on each one of these is different. Let me give you an idea of what I'm talking about real quick. Then I'll get back to all the what Iran's chances are. Let's just imagine 1,000 people come through the border. 10 of them bring in scant amounts of yellow cake. Let's say 10 of these guys get through every month. So there's only 10 a month, right? Follow me now. This is deep. But how many people is that a year now? 120 every year. Now do that by 10. Now you got 1,200 people over a 10-year period who have been able to bring in scant amounts of yellow cake, uranium, plutonium, and put them in strategic locations. This shit's out in the middle of the desert, out in warehouses and shit, in places where radioactivity naturally takes place. So a Geiger counter is not going to pick up on these amounts because a truly trained warrior will learn these things. They'll learn. This is what makes the enemy within so dangerous, is because you have people within the military. I think people forget about that dude that was a major down there in Texas. They ain't brought him up the whole time with Iran. But do you remember the dude? It was, man, what was it, 2011? 2012, some shit like that? There was a major in Texas. He was a Muslim dude though. And he went crazy down there on the base and shot up a bunch of people. I want to say he shot himself in the end. But they don't talk about that shit. Now, they could have fomented a whole bunch of rage and lottie-dottie and everybody, but what they did was they swept that under the rug. I'm telling you, bro, you don't think there's a bunch of these dudes? Let's just say one city in every other state has a dude that has control of one of these things, or a chick. Bro, that's still 25 states, Cuddy, with a payload unknowable. And they don't want to talk about that shit. I'm the only nigga you hear talking about it on the internet ever. They're all afraid to talk about this shit because they know it's true. They know for a fact that the United States government fucking slipped and fell on its face by being so racist to black people for all these years. They'd have been better off letting black people kill each other off than allowing these motherfuckers to bring in nukes or the tactical nukes into their cities and build them up. Right. But because they hate us so much, they've made us focus on, damn, do they really hate us that much? And then because we think about it, we're like, whoa, man, we got to love each other more. Because for whatever reason, they don't fuck with us. And all we have is us. We all we got. So when you got these dudes who can come here and literally bring weapons of mass destruction, and then they want us to sit back on the sidelines and act like we don't know shit. I would rather play that part than be the dude who's going to put my life on the line for a system that has literally meat grinded our people. I refuse. I refuse. If it means one of these dudes doing something and I'm right there, I have to kill him. I don't have a choice. But if I cannot be affected at all and they do whatever they do, let them do whatever they do. It has nothing to do with me. It's not my fault that the United States government didn't implement and didn't find better strategies, but got away, but still can find a way to be racist to this fucking day and have selective outrage and selective enforcement. That shit is true. So I don't get mad about it. I just say these motherfuckers got what they got coming, big dog. And when they get it, they will get it, and they will they're gonna absolutely have to take it. I pray to God they send troops to Iran, bro. I pray to God they do a draft. And they pick up all these young 18, 19-year-old, scrawny little punk-ass, bitch-ass niggas off the street who swear he got a blick and swear he got a switch on it and swear he gonna do this and that on his dead mama, on the dead homies type niggas. I pray to God there's a draft. And they draft all those bitch-ass niggas up out of here. And they overlook dudes our age and say, yeah, man, we want the youngins first. We want the youngins first. We want them young, tough niggas first. They so fucking tough, bro. They got to go first, man. And then come get us. After them niggas, since they the tip of the spear, and they done got broke the fuck off something nasty, then send us in to clean these niggas up. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, bro, because the whole shit hedges on this. They didn't attack early enough. Right on. And as long as there's one IRGC soldier, it's never too late to mount an attack. No matter how foolish it may seem at that point, still never too late. Now, I want them to do something now so that way they can seem at least manly. Because right now they look more foolish than Venezuela. Venezuela didn't lose no 1,300 people, bruh. Yep. Get their asses out there. Yep. Yeah. Them. Yeah, the YN Terminator nigga box. Yeah. Send him. He weighed all of 117 pounds, but he gonna shoot the shit out of one of these rifles. Don't worry. He might shoot himself or one of his comrades, but he ain't shit anyway. Don't worry. Ain't none of these little niggas shit. Send them all out there. They do whatever the fuck they want to do. I'm serious, man. Because it shit pisses me off, bro. Sometimes, like when I look at how we get treated based on how these little bitch ass niggas act today. But I remember when I was coming up, man, if you really had a problem with somebody and you didn't want a squad, bro, shut the fuck up. That's it. And talking about getting a gun on a nigga might get you packed out and found in a trunk somewhere. Because niggas ain't having that. But guess what? Here we are. Little young niggas talking about, nigga, I'll smoke you. It's like, not realizing, like, nigga, I might have a gun in my pocket. I might have a knife in my pocket. I might just be willing to wrestle you down to the ground and choke the life out you and take the assault one charge for putting my hands around your neck. It's assault one in Washington State if you put your hands around anybody's neck. Now, the bitch ass white boy fucking tried to choke me and they charged me with assault one, even though he tried to choke me. That's why my shit never went to trial. Because, right, they'd have to have reverse the charges and then charge his punk ass. He fucked up. But anyway, yeah, these little niggas don't know nothing. They scared. But send their bitch asses first, though. Send them first, please. Draft this shit out of them. Man, there is no shortage of these little niggas with bad tempers and shitty manners. There is no shortage of them. There is no shortage. No shortage. Nope. Hit up the whole Midwest, the whole South, the whole East Coast, the whole West Coast, and don't forget the North. Go get them bitch ass niggas too. Send their asses over there. They so stomped down. 10 toes, nigga. Yeah, yeah. Send them. Send them. Send them. Send them. Get their punk asses a rifle, a Snicker bar, and some fentanyl. Because, you know, they all get high on blues, right? They all droopy, dripple, looking tired and shit all the time, right? You don't know if that nigga about to go to sleep or drop dead. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, send their ass first. Then send the OGs. The young OGs and the OGs and the triple OGs and the doubles and the triples and the quad. Yeah, send them after that. Because I don't think these niggas are the tip of the spear. Yeah. Man, I'm saying, bro, yeah. Look, man, it's popping. Yep. Shaquita, yep. Darquavius, they all can go. Get their asses over there. I bet you they'll motherfucking, man, they'll grow the fuck up real quick. Them niggas will come back appreciating motherfuckers. But they don't appreciate nothing now because they don't realize how stomped down other dudes had to be already just for them to even act the fool like that. Do they realize, like, man, like, you feel me? Like, man, nigga, I went to the library as a child, nigga. I read encyclopedias as a child, nigga. Word? The Encarta, right? All of that. You know what I'm saying? Word? The thesaurus. What they know about a thesaurus. For real. Right? They don't know anything, bro. So it's like having to do the shit the hardest way it can be done, other than going out and being the first searcher, not a researcher, but the searcher of the information, the first one who initiates the understanding of the information. Come on, man, it's powerful knowledge we're giving right now for the free, right? That's why YouTube hate me. Because there's just too much goodness being given away for the free, and they hate that. But bro, that we did that though. There's a generation of people who literally did that, who literally went to the library to learn. That's you know what I'm saying? Like, these young dudes don't know nothing about that. So I want them to go first. Don't send us first, because they're gonna call us stupid for getting killed. Oh man, he's dumb. I wouldn't have did that. Send them. Don't even train them. Nope. They so badass motherfuckers. Send their bitch asses as is. Don't give them no SGLI. Don't do none of that. Just say if you get killed, nigga, we'll give your mama $50,000. It's more money than these bitch ass niggas gonna ever see anyway. In 1 year anyway. They ain't never gonna have a year where they break 50. They ain't have a year where they break 40 legally. Or even these niggas ain't gonna have a year where they break 20 legally. These niggas are pathetic. They're pathetic. When I say legally, I'm talking about I'm beating a white man at his own game. He don't think I'll wait it out to see if he loses his motherfucking power on the reins, nigga. Because if he fall asleep just a little bit, I'm kicking his bitch ass off the wagon, and this is my wagon now. Run it. That's how you have to be with them. You have to be like that with them because they will never give you a chance or a choice or an opportunity to really show how great you are. Your greatness is within the fact that you withhold your righteous indignation from spilling over and allowing it to affect other people. These mass shooters who think they're tough, these niggas who kill people for no reason, these niggas don't have the strength that you have, the strength that I have as a person, the strength that our real brothers and sisters have. And I don't give a fuck where they from. If they have stomped down with the shit, I'm talking nigga all 10 toes in the mud from the Bahamas, from goddamn Virgin Islands, wherever, right? It don't matter. They could be from the Central Latin America. You know what I'm saying? They could be from, if they really with the shit, they know what time it is. Let's see. I'm gonna tell you what's up with fucking AI too, bro, real quick, man, since you on there real quick. AI is trying to distort reality. AI wants people to see some shit that's so fake so many times where if some real shit happen, niggas like, that's AI, bro, that ain't real. So if a real life, like I told the homie, I said if a monster just popped up out the water and wiped the whole city off the map, motherfuckers be like, that shit's AI, nigga, that shit ain't real. You wouldn't know it was real until later. But then you would be terrified. Or maybe later never comes because you're the one getting wiped out. See, this is why the shit is so important. That people don't allow for something that is an optical illusion to change how they perceive the reality and actuality on this earth. Because that shit is dangerous. Them young niggas gonna be the target. They are the target. It's them they want. They can't get me and you. God forbid we keep outliving all these young ass niggas. There's gonna be a generation of dudes missing. Fucking A, bro. I mean, that shit is unthinkable. We're at a time where we might see a whole generation not be here, bro. I don't think, I can't say it's never happened, but nigga, not in my lifetime and not in the lifetimes before, people who I've heard about. Man, we're talking about a bunch of people, man, we done read about, bro. And we ain't never, ever seen a whole generation. We're talking about worldwide. There's a whole generation of dudes between the ages of 17 and 26. And a lot of these dudes aren't going to make it. They're not going to make it because they're not built for the long haul. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hey, come on. You can get the fire shipped to the house, roll it up in a Garcia Vega. You can put it in a backwood. You can put it in the paper. You can put it in a Hipperillo. You can eat it. You ain't even got to smoke it, bro. You feel me? You can eat it, man. You can put ointments on and shit. Man, what can we do with these dudes who don't even realize how back in the day, man, dudes used to literally get snatched up off the streets, bruh, for a 10 sack? Do they realize how many guys in Mississippi got a life sentence for having a quarter of weed? Come on, hey, come on, bro. For the dessert, for the dizzy dirt. Come on, right? For the dizzy dirt. Nigga, a 175 QP back in the day, that shit was some Mexican dirt weed, nigga. It was some brick weed. It was Bobby Brown, not the good Bobby Brown. Stop it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That shit wet. You can't even smoke this shit, man. What the fuck? These niggas don't know. I worked hard for this bald head. Well, it's not all the way bald, but you know. I worked hard for this head to go thin, man. Word. Too bad it couldn't have stayed with me for my whole life, but that's all right. Oh my God, bro. That bullshit, bro. Come on, right? It's literally smelling like gasoline. These niggas don't even know. They don't know. They don't know. Never too early, though, brother. And never too late for these little niggas to learn, man. And I hope that they get it. I hope Rick is watching this and then realize that they better catch up. Man, the real droughts back in the day where these niggas don't know about an ounce costing $400 on the street of weed. Where? If you were fucking lucky, you might be able to get a pound for fucking $2,000. Most dudes are trying to charge 24, 26, 3,000. Don't let it be no powwow, nigga. It's 3 racks off rip. Unless you know the nigga growing it, and he might let you get it for, 24, 25 or something like that. Anyway, these niggas don't know the game, bro, because they never been through it. They didn't have to go through that. They didn't have to wait all day for the weed man. Oh, Jose was like, get in there, okay? All right. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Nigga, shit, man. Listen, bro. But look, I'm gonna keep it 100,000 though. I wish we could get through to the young brothers, but we can't. They're unreachable. It's not the tattoos that make them unreachable. It's their mindset that makes them unreachable. And because of that, no disrespect to Rick, are like a bunch of these little dudes who are like that. Only they got missiles and shit. And I just want these little niggas to understand, bro. Like, it was really tough at a point. And they're smoking real life gas. Niggas don't know nothing about that shit. Oh my God. Yeah, or just getting some bullshit, bro, that just fucking tastes like trash, looks like trash. It's all you got. Yep. Oh yeah, you get a headache now. You know that headache is coming, nigga. That's a foregone conclusion once you put the bullshit in the air, and then getting charged. Niggas don't remember the days of paying $10 for a fucking a 0.7 sack of fire, a 0.5 sack of some kill, nigga. You roll a blunt of this shit up, nigga. You're not smoking the whole blunt. It's not laced with nothing. It's just some of that, that old school white widow, white rhino. You know what I mean? Purple haze, purple kush. All that shit, man. These niggas don't know, man. Anyway, bro. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, they don't move like that anymore. Their whole itinerary is different. And that's why they got to get drafted first. I pray to God there's a draft, bro. That's the only thing I want to see. If they going to do all this war and shit, do a draft. Don't hold back, D. Treasy. Do you feel me? They bombed the first ship with a submarine since World War II. I'm like, man, do a draft. Nigga, quit playing with this shit. Draft some motherfuckers, get them over there. Tell Israel they can't even get in the fight. Because we don't know how many of these motherfuckers would turn around and blast you in the face, dog. So don't have no American Israeli operations unless it's with the top tier, most disciplined motherfuckers who understand, like, it's not my job to punish these dudes. It's not my job to turn my weapon on these dudes. It's my job to be professional. Word. Now, if one of them do something that causes for them to get their life taken, whole nother thing. If the whole unit or whatever gets wiped out because they do some weird shit, whole nother thing. But, like, as far as going over there and obtusely being on some bullshit, I can't get with that because that would be like one nigga killing somebody and then them trying to come kill me or trying to come kill you because some random ass nigga that we have no idea, no affiliation with. And if they looked at his ideology and his doctrine of living and versus ours, you would be like, we're completely different people. So how could you feel the need that you could just, how could you feel the need to take my life and then also feel like you have the right to do so, you know? Oh, yeah. Oh, bro, listen, man. Tonight, bro, I'm at the bus stop, bro, going home, man, right? I'm chilling. This dude is extra flagrant with it, right? He got the dress on. He trying to be a woman so bad. And I could tell the dude's like some kind of like half-breed dude. But he looked like a Turk Israeli half-breed, not like a black-white half-breed. Anyway, this shit was crazy. Cause the dude kept trying. I was like, "Hey man, get your faggot ass back, dude." At one point, I had to just like say that to him. I didn't want to like go off on him, but this nigga kept trying to like walk up. Hey man, get the fuck away from me, bro. You doing all that weird ass shit, nigga? You get knocked the fuck out here, you know. And I wanted to tell that dude like, bro, Seattle used to be the gay bashing capital of the U.S. Nobody knows that, but hey, I feel like that. Listen, man. Listen, man. I'm gonna say this because there's tribes of them so-called native dudes. Man, you know some of them dudes over here was fruit caking. Where that inner righteousness, the native man of the earth, right? Because I'm not gonna say we run this whole shit, but really we do. Somebody who's related to us, who looks like us, run shit where they're from, or they should be. You know what I'm saying, bruh, right? Man, them niggas ain't even native to Siberia, dog. Them niggas is native to a cave, a unnamed cave in an undisclosed location. I'm telling you, they ain't even from topsoil, bruh. They act like they are. They want to be so bad. That's why they put themselves in everything. But when yeah, not Tonto Loc. Oh man, not him. Yeah, yeah, not Chief Tukey out here. Oh yeah, man, yeah. They went crazy with it. Right? Fucking wow. Wow, this shit is crazy. But I'm telling you, these little niggas is wild though. These little niggas is crazy, man. And Iran better catch up. Cause them YNs, yeah, as you like to say, as y'all like to say, them niggas would have popped it off early and late. Yeah, yeah. Not Chief Strong Job. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, man, these motherfuckers, but they don't even know, bro. This shit is crazy. We're in a time where we're literally looking at some dudes who they all got touched up. And I'm not saying that the Ayatollah listened to me and say he should just go out there and get hit up. But I felt like bruh, y'all didn't do right, bro. It, if the Ayatollah just let his life get laid down and he martyred himself like that, y'all should have been cool. Oh man. Man, bro. Not the dude called MD 2020 or MD Firewater, right? Not him, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh my God, bro. Yeah, we don't need those niggas. Not the Natty Ice nigga. Oh man, yeah, bro. Dances with Natty Ice bottles. Yeah. Don't put that nigga on the front line, bro. Okay, he can't shoot a bow and arrow straight for shit. You know that for a fact. And I'm just saying. Cause it's for real though, bro. They should have did something. They should have fought way harder than they fought, and they got their asses beat. Again, if you're gonna fight, fight. But the fighting that they've done is like they don't look cowardly, but they look limited. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say like if they was really about that shit and they was really about that life, they would have been bombing Israel while they were mobilizing and moving, tens of thousands of dudes at a time. Like it's like, bro, like again, Israel was so fucking high up in the IRGC's ass with the Mossad, bro. They knew everything they were doing, and they're trying to say that one of the top generals that just got that the Iran just killed him. They're saying that this dude was in bed with the Mossad the whole time, and I'm like, bruh, again, why would you hold back? Are y'all telling me that you held back because of this dude that was a Mossad agent? But how did you not realize this nigga is Mossad when he's telling you shit like they just literally tried to slice your head off with the sword? He's like, no, man, don't pull your sword out yet. You better wait till they try to kill you. Oh, man, it's crazy. It's man, it's been crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's been crazy. They've been most definitely them niggas need an honorable mention. D Treasy needs an honorable mention. Okay? For fucking shit up this year. I should have called it the year of the pop off, but I'm too late now. Right? I thought they was going, end the pseudo peace, but I didn't want to call it the end of pseudo peace, right? Because I, but wow. Now, I want everybody to be thinking when 2027 comes into play, I want them to think about their boy. I have been waiting for that year for so long. I'm just like, God, don't let me die before that, just so I can see what happens. Because he knows. I've been waiting for so many years. I've been calling that year out by the number for years. I've never deviated. Ever. I thought 2024 or 2025 would be the year where things got interesting, and things got interesting for sure a couple years back. But I knew that 2027 was the year that I picked where I was like, I feel like that's the year where things just completely, something magical is going to happen. It's going to either be the fakest piece we've ever seen, or it's going to just completely fall apart. And I can't wait to see whichever one it is. I'm sure it's going to be a polar extreme. I'm not worried about no aliens coming to Earth. Here you go. You know him from school? He said, I know this motherfucker. Yeah, listen. There's some type of dudes like that. Listen, them type of dudes they get up there. Some of those dudes raise way up in the ranks. They're just they have just enough, whatever you want to say. Back in the day, the little, the mops would say, yeah, he's spunky, right? Maybe that's JD Vance. These dudes be pausing to death out here. I'm going to tell you what, man. Some of these dudes be out here, be on that shit. If you really know that motherfucker from school, I'm telling you something. It's not a big world, right? It's not a surprise that you rubbed elbows with a dude who's now this nigga's vice president, dog. Be careful, because he got everybody on speed dial from high school or middle school and shit. He done went back at the yearbook. He done looked and shit. If you ever was clowning on his ass, giving it to him hard, he was like, I remember. Yeah. Fucking remember Leonard Judith, bro. That motherfucker, bro. Hey, listen, right now he's stewing and brewing. All right, that nigga mad as a motherfucker right now. I mean, dude, that's what but he looks like an eyeshadow wearing motherfucker though. He looks like one of them. He looks like he was one of them on the border edge of goth, but is this dude gay? Okay, he's not all the way gay, so is he bisexual? He looked like one of them type dudes. And that ain't, that ain't his fault. That's just how he looked. I'm sure I hope he loves the chicks. He's got babies, but all that might be a setup, dog. We never know with these motherfuckers. You don't ever know with the white dudes. They'll fuck a dog, literally. Like they're not right. They are not right. You can never know one of these motherfuckers. But I'm just gonna say this right here. Iran should have did what they should have did, bro. They waited way too long. Way too long. Now they gotta hit before it's too late. Because what could happen is this. Is the IRGC could see that even if we say in name we don't give up, they might just stop fighting. How's anybody gonna get mad at them? The only way they're gonna keep fighting is if they get that backup. Just like JD Vance talked shit about Trump and then joined teams with him because he realized he couldn't beat him. Or he couldn't fuck with D. Treasy. Even right now, if he ran for president, bro, he's not winning. Democrats are gonna win. Trump set it up for that. He threw these bitch ass niggas an alley-oop. You know what I'm saying? I mean, anybody who can see, you know what I mean. Like it's a clear alley-oop, dog. Democrats would have to do something crazy to lose now. Uh-oh. Yeah, he was like, I ain't fucking with this nigga, man. See, look, dude, I'm gonna tell you some real nigga shit, man. This is crazy. So, when I was in my senior year in high school, it said no. The program has changed its name, but back then it used to be called the Youth Forum on National Defense. National Youth Forum on National Defense. It cost $2,000 to get a ticket to go to D.C. to meet the Secretary of Defense at the time, or the head of the CIA, head of the NSA, and some people from the FBI and shit, right? This is back when I thought I was about to be, the fucking dude, bro. Like I was, my trajectory was crazy, bro. I thought I was gonna really do some things, Like I'm not saying I'm not doing nothing now. And I was invited, bro. You got to realize, player, like out of however many students that get invited per state, I want to say it was 2 per state. It was me and another student that got invited, right? Dude, it was an absolute honor, man. I'll never forget that RSVP at the bottom, bro. And I just remember Mount Tahoma telling me that they weren't going to pay for it, man. That just broke my heart, bro. It's okay, though. Honor roll student, National Honor Society. And no, we're not going to pay for your trip out here to D.C. Go figure. So when I talk about the shit that I'm talking about, like people have no idea, like, man, like, when I say National Honor Society, every year, dude, I was an honor roll student up until my senior year, up until second semester. Second semester, all my grades dropped because they had suspended me, and that shit like derailed me because I'll never forget the hurt and the pain I felt from that, bro. Like, that's when I really, saw like, wow, like this shit is really fucked up. I wrote out a 3.78, right on, dropped to a 3.65, and it dropped to a 3, then it dropped to a 2.7. Then I was able to battle back and get it to a 2.9 before graduation and shit. That shit was some bullshit. Yeah. Listen, man, that's how this shit be, bro. It's crazy, man. They will derail you, bro. They will fucking try to fuck you over, man. And that's where I understand never, it's never too early, bro, to go on the attack. Ever. Right on? It's never too early to start defending yourself. Ever. Look at what Israel does. Israel's never too early. And if they didn't get you early enough, nigga, it's never too late to try to double back and get that ass. They better learn something, but they ain't learned shit because all these dudes is afraid of nuclear war, but they're not trying to actually do the shit that they could do. See, don't act like you're not afraid to die, but then show us that you're afraid to die. You know what I'm saying? That's some sucking shit if I ever seen it. Like, if a motherfucker tell me that they not about no fighting, they ain't not about none of that kind of shit, I'll never put them in a situation like that. Any and every time I can back down and walk away, right on, not with my back turned, but you know, with my eye on the motherfucker, I'll walk away. Because I'm not going to put so-and-so in a situation. Now, if the opportunity arises where I just have to defend myself, I'm going to defend myself. Even at the offensive so-and-so, right on? They might be offended that I did whatever and that I didn't just let it be. But it's like, nah, actually, they deserve this, bro. They asked for all of this. Somebody follow you. If somebody follows you more than 50 feet, and I don't even give them that much if I'm out there on the streets. But if you're at home, let's just say, for example, you're walking home, you get out your car, somebody start following you, right? And you say, hey, I'm going up to my door. If you step onto my lawn, it's going to be a problem. If they don't retreat in that moment, you can take their following you as an act of hostile aggression. You don't need to stand your law. It's called castle doctrine. Every state honors it. Every state. Because you don't have to retreat at your domain. You're already at your domain. At this point, you're protecting your domain. This is why Iran fucked up, because they should have did some different shit. Let me see what you're talking about. Listen, man. That's what you do, bro. You gotta be smart enough, man. You can't let these motherfuckers try to put you. Yeah, look, you cannot let them try to have you scared in this bitch ever, because that's how they get a nigga. Once they know we got him rattled, we got him. My mom asked me the other day, she said, why you look so mean? I said, I don't look mean. I said, that's my face, man. Like, that's what I look like. I've been looking like this. When I was a little boy, people used to ask me, why you look so sad, right? I'm going to hold my face the way it goes. You got to do what you got to do, bro. Right on. Whether your normal face looks excited, whether your normal face looks angry or whatever, you got to hold it like that, bro. And you did what you were supposed to do, right on. You played your card. You didn't let your face betray you, because that's where it really comes into play at, right on. Not allowing your facial expressions to give away anything, right on. You know, I smile because I choose to. I do my best not to smile from reaction. Even if I feel like the sensation should be enjoyed, I'll control myself. There's been a lot of days, man, I wanted to laugh at somebody, I seen something happen, and I just look over, I don't say nothing. Or there's been a lot of days where I just been like, this is some bullshit, and I still don't go all out. I don't allow for it to change how I'm going to be. Yeah, no, listen. Yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah. Listen, bro. It's not even the mean mug, bro. It is the mean mug, but it's listen though. It doesn't mean I'm not a kind person. It doesn't mean I can't be spoken to. Doesn't mean you can't approach. Man, the most random people will approach me, bro. Well, I think I got a mug on my face. And I'll be like, hey, can you tell me how to get to so-and-so and where? I'll be like, and if I know where to go, I'll be like, yeah, go up here, da 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 da. Or sometimes I have to get on my phone because I'll be like, I ain't never heard of that spot. Because you got a lot of spots that are brand new. They're in the city, like you never heard of them. They're in the spots you know where to go. Where you're like, okay, yeah, go this way, go this way, go this way. But you never heard of it because it's a brand new spot. So I have to. I sometimes I go through that, but yeah, I have to stop myself sometimes from having the mug on my face, but I do my best to have a catatonic face. I do my best to just look like there's just no emotions up there sometimes. It's the best way to be. So that way they can't tell what hand you're playing. Right on. I might be giggling on the inside, but there be so much shit that make me laugh, right? Even sometimes when I get angry, I find shit funny. Because I'm like, really, motherfucker? You know, like today, I work with this chick, you know, and she's a young mother, right? So she doesn't know. I mean, you know, like she's 34 or whatever. You know, that's to me that's young. She's a young mother of four. So you know, she was a young mother at one point, and now I don't think she's grown into motherhood the right way. So I have to be patient with her. But today I didn't snap at her, but I had to like let her know, like, yo, I'm trying to be up out of here at this exact time. So as soon as we can be up out of here, I'm trying to go. Cause she on her phone, she talking, she da 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 da. I'm like, see, now if you was here and there was not me here, you wouldn't even be able to be on your phone. You'd have to pay attention. You'd be too scared to. You'd have to do your job. So why are you trying again? Throw my hands up, bro. But I'm not gonna make no. I'm not gonna make it awkward for her to be at work with me when I can just be polite enough to do what I gotta do. Yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, man. Listen. Yeah. Listen. Today I'm walking home, or tonight, man. Listen, man. This was like shit. Barely. It wasn't even 2 hours ago, dog. This was at 10 something, right? You know my time. So it was 2 hours ago, but it wasn't even 3 hours ago. I was walking. I was walking to the crib. Dang. I'm walking up the hill, and normally I'm cool with the little Usos, but there's a little bitch ass dude who did some weak shit a few years ago. Like when I see him, you know what I mean? He got it. Dude has it coming. He has it coming. And anybody with him who try to get in the way gonna get what they got coming too. Facts. It's not a threat to these dudes. It's a big fact. So when the one big old Uso was looking at me and shit, and I'm looking at him, and he's a big boy. He 6'3", 6'4", easily 350, right? Uh, bruh, when he was looking at me, he was mugging for a second. Then I like looked right in, because you know I look people right in their eyes. I'm not afraid to do that. I'm like a wild animal who's like, I dare you to get stupid. You know what I mean? Like I'm crazy. Like I don't know what my problem is, bro. I do not care. I do not try to hold rank or whatever over people. I'm just a nig. And I'm not even a big nig at that. So it's like, you know what I mean? So when some of these dudes, they just be like looking down, kind of like not in fear, but like out the way, like I don't want no problem. I'm just gonna avoid. I'm gonna avoid this dude right now. But it's like I don't try to do that to people. I do my best to actually be again kind and considerate. But I'm not a nice person, and I actively act on not being nice. I'll be as kind as I can be. But the moment I feel like I started to be nice, I'll reel back on my kindness and I'll just show people like, hey, no. I know I said what I just said, but check this out. Do this too. Don't try to play me for a fucking buster or a sucker or some bullshit, you know, at that point. Because it's like, I would never try to get over on them. I don't, at this point in my life, I don't see the point in trying to fuck people over. It's just easier to tell somebody I don't got it. Way easier. Hey, bro, can I hold 100? I don't got it right now, bro. It's way easier for me to say that than for me to try to go out of my way and hurt my finances. You know what I'm saying? If I got 1,000, and they need 1,000, guess what? It's theirs. Especially if it's just money I've been accruing and building up, and it's not a part of my savings, and it's not a part of my normal everyday expenses, and it's not none of that. Oh yeah, bro, take that, and don't worry about it. It's just it depends on where you're at, and we just been dealing with a whole lot of shit lately, man. That's why sometimes it's hard to walk around with a smile on your face like you might have done when you were younger, and it's the seriousness of the situation is upon us. And we want the younger children to look and to see that's the demeanor that you need to have. Whenever I'm out and I see like little children, like they look at me in my face, they take me serious. It is super hard, bro. It's tough. But if we don't do it, they're not going to see what they're supposed to have to do. Right on? Because this is it. Last line of defense. When you look in the mirror, you're looking at the last line of defense, bro. Every time. Know that. You are the preemptive strike, and you are the final punch. You're everything. And if you don't go at it like that for the people, they don't have a chance. Because it's not going to be millions of us that free us. It's going to be a small handful of us that do the hardest, most diligent, work. We're going to have to be the most ardent people that we can be. Everything we do is going to have to matter. Even if you think just chilling at the house don't matter, you staying out the way and being out of any potential fray that could remove you from a really actual impactful moment is a blessing. Because you need to be there for that impactful moment. You need to be there for that person that needs to hear whatever they need to hear. Or if you have to take action physically, tangibly, you can do so in your right mind. Because money only matters so much. It matters, but then there's a part where it just doesn't matter. Where it's like, fuck that. I don't need money to stand up for myself. I don't. I think the Ayatollah realized in his last moments, like, wow, if I had just not been violent this whole time and we had just worked this shit way different this whole time, this all could be different. But because they've worked themselves into a frenzy where they believe that they have to suffer to thrive, but that's not true. We don't have to suffer to thrive. In this land, they force us to suffer because that's all they know is suffering. They don't know the better part of life. And for them to have a better part of life means that everyone else has to have nothing. That's not the best part of life. That's not even the better part of life. There were people who were here who didn't have to go to a foreign land and oppress the original indigenous native peoples of the land to enjoy themselves and to have lives and to have culture and to have a feeling of self-worth and self-importance. But because we have so many individuals whose self-importance is derived from another person, it's derived from an outside source, so therefore it's no longer self. If it's outside of you and you need that. Because if the Most High God is truly all things, as far as we're talking about existing living, then you're as close to God as you're ever going to be, as you ever need to in the flesh. If they could just understand that and really live in that, they could have something. That's right. But you know what, though? He should have made a deal with himself and told his people, if you really love me, man, stand back and get out the way. That's what he should have done. If the IRGC really loves Iran, really loves the land, Let the people of the land take the land back over. If they're truly so-called Persians, even though we know they're children of the Ottoman Turks, right? Shout out to Brother Scribe and, Tiglath-Pileser and all them bitch-ass niggas. But anyway, point is this. Even though they're Ottoman Turks, we're going to say they're Persians. Let the Persian people take back over, dog. Why can't you just protect them? If you're really an altruistic force, this is why the Star Wars movies are so deep because, you know, the Sith are like the Americans, right? We do what the fuck we want to do. And like the Jedi are like these other groups of people who claim to be peaceful and claim to be this and this, but yet you want peace, but you want peace at the price of you having power. Not peace just because it can be peaceful. This is a fact. Otherwise, why would the Jedi's exercise power or force over someone else to exercise so-called peace? If the ability to be peaceful is already ever present, why would you do anything that goes against that? Don't answer that out loud. Internalize that one. Because they need to know. They need to be thinking in their own minds how that works. Again, if the closest thing to God that you will ever see is your own face by looking at it in a vanity, in a mirror, other than looking at another black person, that's the closest you'll get. Understand, that's the closest any man will get. Right. We're not God. We're not gods either. But if you're made in the image of anything, that's as close as you'll be to it. So there's no need to make a statue. Because his greatness, his form, his whatever you want to call it, all that is variant of perception. It's not based on any one thing. An omnipotent being can hold any form and change its form as it feels. As maybe when he's angry, his face looks one way. Maybe when he's upset, it looks another. Maybe when he's jovial, it looks another. We have no idea how the Most High God really works. We have no clue, none. Like we have our ideas, but I'm talking about like a day in the life with the Most High has never been illustrated anywhere in the Scripture, not even close. We've had moments that are illustrated that we believe by the prophets, but those moments are scant. Even if you believe in the Book of Enoch, that's still not a day in the life of the Most High God. It's being, and people are like, what do you mean a day in the life? If you're outside of space and time, every day is a day in the life. Every moment's a day in the life for him. I don't know how else to say it. It's like one big event that he can separate one thing from to the other. But it's anyway. Before I get ready to roll out for real now. They were supposed to turn on him and take him out. That's what America wanted to happen. They wouldn't be getting bombed on right now. See, again, it was a catch-22 with damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that's why they should have attacked early, bro. And it's still not too late. I really do feel for them dudes over there because they've grown up their whole lives fighting for a cause that we're watching die before our very eyes. Not Islam, just the IRGC. We're watching it die before our very eyes. And it's going to be Iran still, but it's going to be a Persian Iran in the end, I believe. They're going to have a lot of these guys trying to get back to their roots. Because they don't have a choice. There is no choice. They have to do this thing. Because if they don't do this thing, then the Ayatollah dying, losing all of your leaders, the people who are the turncoats, and having given up all these people have been for nothing. Boots on the ground is just me. Yep, but listen though, it's not. You know they say it's all for the Epstein files and it's all for this dude, but it's really all for people to keep their eyes off of people with 6 fingers and 6 toes. For real, for real. It's deep like that. It's deep like that. Because we know the original dudes back in the day were dudes with 6 fingers and toes doing a bunch of that weird shit with animals and people. They're trying to start a world war, bro, to avoid that. That's what this all shit is about. They start a war right now, then the guys with 6 fingers and toes don't get exposed for being what they are, which is perverts, right, and abominations. It's true. Very true. I tell the whole truth and nothing but it. However, I mean, that's just what it is, bro. That is, yeah, yeah. Man, look, we didn't cut into a lot of things. We're not going to get too carried away on these people because we don't want them to look back into this world. They're going to look back into the threat anyway. But we don't want to give them too much. Gotta, you know, this shit is well seasoned right here. When we put this motherfucker in the oven and put it on a low cook, all right, and low temp, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be the one. It's going to be the one. Falling off the bone, bro. Falling off the bone. I believe you came through again for another, you know. Oh no, man. Yeah, we gotta be smart because you know they're watching this. You know they're watching this. We gotta be smart about what we say so that way they don't try to pull nothing smart, but do nothing smart on us. But what you said was right. I don't disagree with nothing, bro. Everything you said, nigga, you ain't said no. I had no lies detected, as Maury would say. Right on. You know, I'm not gonna say you are the father, right? You know what I mean? Because you might be, you know, and escape one of them situations. But look, real nigga shit, bro. This has been well marinated. This is the one right here. I feel like when whoever gonna watch this one, U.S. government gonna be mad. You know what's crazy, bro? I didn't know that you knew JD Vance until today. And I'm just saying, man, you see how little the separation is? You know, like it's little things like that, bro. Again, I say this not in jest, but seriously. Dude, they've done it. They probably got a dossier on you. Because you know they do that kind of information check. But they do, bro, to become the vice president, bro. They're going back to your elementary to see. Okay, okay, understood. Once you saw his actual name, you knew then who you were dealing with. Got you. See again though they're aware of who you are. I'm saying it like this: if you're that close to anybody of that kind of power, they know who you are, bro, for a fact. Right on. We're not going to give them nothing to work with, but we also going to let them see this right here because we cooked them. That look, that's how that's how easy it could have been you in this place of power. But what would it have cost you? Right? Your blackness, your soul, right? Everything that matters. Right. That's It does make sense. That's why, bro. Veteran and everything. That's why. That's it. The fact that it doesn't make sense is what makes it make sense. I'm not saying like no esoteric way. I'm just saying that's what makes it make sense. It's because he's a cool dude, and you can see that in him now. Like he's trying to find ways to like navigate the bullshit, but he can't, bro. He's in deep, bro. He's in eyelashes deep, bro. He's in mascara deep, bro. For sure, for sure. Look, brother, like you know, I love doing this. I salute you. I salute you again, and I salute you once more. May tomorrow surpass in every way that today has been. And may this next week, brother, be something that this last week could never, ever amount to. For sure, for sure. Be early, brother. Stop. Be early, brother. And if you can't do nothing else, at least get there late. Because we and I both know better late than never. All right, bro.